In the heart of southern Africa, there's a breathtaking city made of stone. They were floored. They saw a level of architectural and engineering skill they believed was impossible for native Africans. The lie started to fall apart as early as 1905. Digging through the layers of colonial myths, her team confirmed everything Randall McKeever had said. They found that the structures were, without a doubt, built by the ancestors of the local Shona people. The evidence was crystal clear. Things like Chinese porcelain, Arab coins, and Persian glass didn't prove foreign builders. They proved that Great Zimbabwe was the center of a massive international trade network run by Africans. Gold and ivory from the African interior were traded through a network that stretched all the way to the Swahili coast and across the Indian Ocean. How artifacts from as far away as China and Persia ended up in the middle of Africa not as proof of foreign builders, but as evidence of a powerful African kingdom's global reach. It chose to call itself Zimbabwe, a name directly inspired by the Shona phrase Jimba de Zimbabwe, which means houses of stone. The soapstone bird carvings found in the ruins, which colonizers once used as evidence of foreign influence, are reclaimed as a national symbol and now decorate the country's flag. This incredible city was built by the ancestors of the modern Shona people, a monument to their ingenuity and power. Correcting that lie isn't just about setting the record straight, it's about restoring a legacy, acknowledging a magnificent past, and recognizing that the incredible stone city of Great Zimbabwe is, and always was, a distinctly African triumph. The architectural style itself, a unique kind of dry stone walling, was a local invention, not something imported. But even with overwhelming scientific proof, the lie was politically enforced until the very end of white rule, when archaeologist David Randall McKeever led the first real scientific excavations. If you agree, take a moment to subscribe and join us as we keep challenging the stories that have shaped our history. At its peak, between the 11th and 15th centuries, this was a bustling city, home to as many as 18,000 people. It was the capital of a powerful kingdom that controlled a huge territory. Eventually, the city was abandoned. But its story was far from over. During the fight for independence, the ruins became a powerful symbol of African achievement and resistance to colonial rule. This was a complex, layered society. An elite class lived inside the magnificent stone walls, while most people lived in the valley below. The king wasn't just a political ruler, but a spiritual one, believed to connect with the ancestors. He looked at the artifacts, the pottery, the tools, the building methods, and concluded that everything he found was of exclusively African origin. Of course, the colonial authorities mostly ignored his findings, so they just invented a new history. Colonial figures like Cecil Rhodes and the explorers he funded aggressively pushed the idea that some lost white race must have built the city. The theories got pretty wild, ranging from Phoenician traders to biblical figures like the Queen of Sheba. Its walls soar up to 11 meters high. It was the bedrock of colonial propaganda. The logic was as simple as it was racist. If they could prove that a foreign or white civilization built Great Zimbabwe, it would justify their own colonial conquest, propped up the narrative that they were bringing civilization to a land of primitives, people without a history of their own. This myth became so important to the white minority government of Rhodesia, as the country was then called, that they actively suppressed any evidence that challenged it.
Right.
The government was officially censoring publications, making it illegal to state that Great Zimbabwe was an African creation. A whole history was being systematically erased in real time. It's built with 1 million granite blocks so perfectly fitted they didn't need any mortar. For centuries, these walls have stood as a silent testament to a powerful and brilliant civilization.
Ow.
But for over 100 years, the official story of who built this marvel was a calculated lie.
Oh.
It was a lie designed to erase history and deny an entire people their heritage. This is the story of Great Zimbabwe and the great lie told about its ruins. When European explorers first stumbled upon these ruins in the late 19th century, this wasn't just some wild guess. But you can't bury the truth forever. Then in 1929, another archaeologist, Gertrude Catton Thompson, led a new all-female expedition. Uncovering these hidden stories is so important to understanding our world. So, what was the truth? What was Great Zimbabwe really? The city's wealth came from cattle, and most importantly, from trade. By the 15th century, Great Zimbabwe started to decline, probably because trade routes shifted and resources dried up. When Rhodesia finally gained independence in 1980, the new nation threw out its colonial name. The great lie about Zimbabwe's ruins was more than a simple historical mistake. It was a weapon of oppression.